General Holder and POTUS, President of the United States, race bait. George, is that what's going on here?
Sure. Look, liberalism has a kind of Tourette syndrome these days. It's just constantly saying the word racism and racist. It's an old saying in the law. If you have the law on your side, argue the law. If you have the facts on your side, argue the facts. If you have neither, pound the table. This is pounding the table. There's a kind of intellectual poverty now. Liberalism hasn't had a new idea since the 1960s, except Obamacare, and the country doesn't like it. Foreign policy is a shambles from Russia to Iran to Syria to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and the recovery is unprecedentedly bad. So what do? You say anyone who criticizes us is a racist.
It is always interesting to see that George Will needs to really open up and tell us how he feels. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. I'm Ed Berliner. This is Diane Diamond sitting in for Steve today, who's taking a couple of days off. It is time once again to bring in the panel, because the way this goes around, and honestly, I can say that I haven't heard anybody put it as well as George before, because a Tourette syndrome on racism might be one of the best comments I think that he's ever quite had. Let's welcome in once again former Congressman from Michigan, Chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Pete Hoekstra joins us, and also the President of the Galen Institute, Grace Marie Turner. Thanks for joining us again, everybody.
Hello.
Pete, I'm going to let you go first on this one. George Will saying that it is a Tourette syndrome-like malady that the liberals falter from whenever they start to get around to things where they have nothing really new to talk about, and this time it is racism. Is it really that bad? I mean, is this really something that they look forward to leaning back on?
Going to me?
Yes, Congressman.
Congressman, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Pete, yes.
No, I think absolutely. I mean, the Democrats are trying to they're trying to set the table for the fall elections. They can't talk about the issues. They can't talk about the policies. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to remind Democrats, at least part of their coalition, as to why they don't like Republicans and why they should be excited about going to the elections. As the whole Obama agenda is collapsing, what's left? You got to go to the polls this November, because those Republicans are racist. So don't talk about the issues. Just start getting involved in name calling. Go after, racism. Go after the Kochs. And we'll be fine in November. It's all they have left to. It's all they have left to talk about.
Congressman, I covered Capitol Hill for a long time, 6-7 years. I dabbled at the White House coverage, when they needed a warm body over there. I've never seen the attitude out of Washington that I see today, and I wonder. You were on the Hill for so many years. I look at this president going to the Al Sharpton event last Friday, talking about those Republicans want to deny millions of you the right to vote. And then the next day on his radio show, he says to the women of America, those Republicans want you to, they want to keep you down, and you've got to realize this. And I think to myself, this is the most divisive president I have seen in my lifetime. Am I overreacting?
No, you're not. I think it's what I experienced. The first 2 years of the Clinton administration, you saw a lot of the same type of actions from Bill Clinton. It was very partisan. They wanted to pass a carbon tax, increase
but he got smart.
Taxes, pass health care, do all of that. But, in 1995, Bill Clinton, he totally morphed into the deal maker and those types of things. George Bush tried to do the same thing with education, with Ted Kennedy passing No Child Left Behind. This president has really never learned the art of making a deal, compromise, so that actually both sides can walk away from the table, not at 50-50, but both sides believing they got 70% of what they wanted. This president wants 90 to 100%, and if he can't get it, he'll just, he will go around Congress or he will attack them personally.
Yeah.
Grace, let me bring you into this here with something that we've talked about here throughout the last couple of hours here. It seems to me, and I hear this from a lot of voters, that the American people are just sick and tired of, no matter whether it is liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, Tea Party, they don't care. They're sick and tired of people always saying, you're to blame for this, and you did this, and you did this. And what they really want to hear is substantive information and ideas of what you're going to do for me in the future. Give me something positive. Stop the attacks. Is it possible? Have we just reached a point where that's not possible for any politician to simply just tell them, here's what I'm going to do, and not spend time attacking somebody?
Well, one of my other favorite columnists, other than George Will, is Charles Krauthammer. And Charles has pointed out in a really important column several years ago that one of the reasons that we have this political polarization in this country is because we've lost the center because of redistricting, because of the red state, blue district, red district. You no longer have members who really do have an ability to compromise. You have an ideological polarization, and it makes it very hard to find that center. And then you get a president who has, first of all, no skills and no experience in working across the aisle. Second, uses racism as a way of driving people apart rather than trying to bring them together. And third, who has no good ideas other than blaming Bush and coming up with plans that really simply build more government and are not going to solve the problem. So we don't have good solutions on the table, and we don't have a good process to be able to actually have the legislative system work in order to be able to at least move forward partly on some of these issues.
Then I'm going to put both of you on the spot here, if you will. And Grace, I'll start with you. Who out there right now, politically speaking, do you feel has the guts and the fortitude and the desire to get out in front of this, stop insulting other people, and actually start coming up with answers?
You know, I think the first thing that needs to happen is for people to really understand a vision of what's possible. The president's plan and the liberals' plan, as you point out, and as Congressman has pointed out, are just simply more and bigger government. They have no new ideas. We need to restore the belief in America, the belief in individuals' ability to find what it is that they uniquely can create and do, and give them those opportunities. In an economy that's stifled by high taxes, by huge regulations, and by a lack of real competition or crony capitalism, you don't find those inspiring new opportunities coming up. And we find that, for example, in the Obama administration, you have so many more people that are disadvantaged being more disadvantaged. Black unemployment rate, youth unemployment is worse than it was before. We've got to show a new vision, as Ronald Reagan did, of what we could achieve in this economy.
Okay, I have to stop you for a second. I only have about a minute left. I want to make sure I get to the congressman. Same question to you then, Congressman. Who's sitting out there who's got the guts to move this forward?
I'll give you 4 or 5 names right off the bat. Number one, the House of Representatives. Paul Ryan proved it again last week when they passed his budget, a bold vision for where he thinks America can go. Also, 3 weeks ago, Paul wanted to start a discussion on how to address the issue of poverty, especially in our big cities. You could tell it was a bold idea because the first thing that people accused him of being was what? A racist. Then I think you take a look at what's going on in state houses around the country. Take a look at John Kasich, Ohio. Take a look at Rick Snyder in Michigan, Rick Scott in Wisconsin, and you've always got the ever-colorful Chris Christie in New Jersey.
The larger-than-life presence here right across the river from us.
Well, we thank both of you for your comments, and it's hopefully I can say that we will continue these conversations down the road here on Newsmax and try to push this conversation into actually getting something done instead of always yelling at somebody.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Pete and Grace, thank you so much for your time.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm like this, that we can find them.
You know, Grace Marie makes a really good point in that we need somebody with some vision. And about the only vision or forward thinking that I hear from this administration is we're going to make everybody equal. We're going to get rid of this inequality. Well, good luck with that. That goes back to biblical times. You know,
it's not new, and it's promising in a way that most people aren't believing at this point.
In the sky.
Believe this. We will take a break and come back. I'm Ed Berliner. This is Diane Diamond. We are sitting in for Steve Malzberg today. We invite you to come back for more right here on Newsmax TV.
We don't just talk about the news, we talk to those making news. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.
Once you cut a tree down, what do you do about the stump?